Hi everyone, welcome to Mental Skills Lesson 2. Today we are going to recap the mental skills during performance and mental skills in preparation for the performance. We're then going to gain an understanding of what you may be asked in the exam, and then we will specifically focus on mental skills in preparation for performance. Understanding the exam. You should now be familiar with this. In your exam paper, you may be asked to define the mental skill, how to improve the mental skill, or the importance of the mental skill. You now have a 30-second challenge. Write down as many mental skills that you can remember. What does a dancer have to think about before performing, and what does a dancer think about during a performance? Pause the video now and test yourself. Hopefully you got some of the following. Under the category Preparation for Performance, there is mental rehearsal, rehearsal discipline, systematic repetition, capacity to improve, planning of rehearsal, and response to feedback. Under the category During Performance is commitment, confidence, concentration, and movement memory. There are 10 mental skills in total. We are now specifically going to focus on mental skills in preparation for performance. Our first mental skill is mental rehearsal. We need to be able to define it, so the definition of mental rehearsal is thinking through or visualising the dance. Next, we have to improve it. We can improve our mental rehearsal by lying down, closing our eyes, and focusing on thinking through and visualising our solo, for example. You could also improve it by repeating your mental rehearsal on a regular basis. Finally, we have the importance. Mental rehearsal is important as it is an extra rehearsal that doesn't require any energy or movement. It is also important as it improves your concentration and your commitment to the movements you will be performing. Next, we will look at rehearsal discipline. The definition of rehearsal discipline is the attributes and skills required for refining performance, such as commitment, systematic repetition, teamwork, responsibility, and effective use of time. Next, we have to improve it. We can improve our rehearsal discipline by setting achievable and specific goals. For example, if you were choreographing a group piece, you could set out that on a Monday lunchtime, you would teach the students 5 counts of 8 within 45 minutes. You could also improve your rehearsal discipline if you arrive on time and are prepared for the rehearsal. Finally, we have the importance. Rehearsal discipline is important as it allows for productive rehearsals and provides better performance. If you use your time effectively within the rehearsal, you were able to have more productive rehearsal time and would increase the quality of your group piece, for example. Next is systematic repetition. Systematic repetition is defined as repeating something in an arranged or ordered way. The ways you can improve systematic repetition is to continue to repeat the task regardless of how many times you have repeated it. This will improve your movement memory and consequently your movements. Systematic repetition is important because it promotes better performance, it provides practice, and it allows you to master skills. For example, if you wanted to perform a pirouette into a leap, systematic repetition would allow you to practice the phrase over and over again and would allow you to master the skill. Next, we will look at capacity to improve. Capacity to improve is defined as having the resilience and determination to keep practicing and want to improve. The ways in which you can improve your capacity to improve is by reflecting and identifying your mistakes and asking for specific feedback. For example, if you ask your teacher for some feedback on your solo, you are more likely to gain targeted and specific feedback that would enable you to produce a higher quality piece of work. Capacity to improve is important as it promotes better performance. For example, if you choreographed a solo without any feedback or improvements, the solo would be adequate but would have room for improvement. However, if you asked your peer or teacher on how you can improve your solo, it would be choreographed better and you would be able to perform it better. It is also important as it allows you to master new skills and gives you the ability to grow and learn. Next, we will look at planning of rehearsal. Planning of rehearsal is having appropriate aims for the rehearsal. The ways in which you can improve your planning of rehearsal is to set achievable and specific goals to be completed. You should also arrive on time and be prepared for what you wish to complete in your rehearsal time. Planning of rehearsal is important as it allows for productive rehearsals which enable you to get more done in the time frame. It also promotes better performance as you have been able to meet your goals that you set in preparation for your performance. Finally, we will look at response to feedback. Response to feedback can be verbal, written, or practical. It is your ability to actively respond to feedback of any sort. The ways in which you can improve your response to feedback is to ask for clarification on any feedback that you receive. For example, if your teacher has written some feedback based on your solo that you do not understand, you should ask the teacher to clarify what this means in order for you to implement it into your solo. You should also improve your response to feedback by taking responsibility to ask, receive, and act upon feedback from peers and teachers. Response to feedback is important as it allows you to reflect and identify any mistakes in your solo, for example, and gives you the ability to improve. It is also important as responding to feedback promotes better choreography and performance. We have now looked at the 6 mental skills in preparation for performance. I want you to pause the video here and test yourself by defining the following terms. The correct definitions are now on the screen. Check what you have written down with the correct definitions to see how much you remembered. To remember mental skills in preparation for performance, think Mrs. CPR, mental rehearsal, rehearsal discipline, systematic repetition, capacity to improve, planning of rehearsal, and response to feedback, MRS, CPR. We are now going to look at some exam-style questions. Pause this video, write out the questions, and test yourself on all of the knowledge that we have just learned.